We're getting closer and closer to pitchers and catchers reporting, also closer and closer to the World Baseball Classic. I'm really excited about. Still some arms out there on the market. Framber Valdez, Lucas Giolito, Chris Bassett, Zach Gallen, and more. Do have this Heyman clip, want to play, talk about a little bit, and then kind of get into everything else we got on the docket today.
Arms still on the market, Bree. If we can put up that list, who jumps out in terms of soonest to move? Who do you want to touch on here?
Oh man, I wish I had my crystal ball.
I know.
I don't know. I'm going to go in order of how much they've accomplished in their career. So we'll start with Framber Valdez, and it is a long list.
How much they've accomplished in their careers. She wanted to say, like, who is the best and most experienced right now? Because if you start with just how much they've accomplished in their careers, it's Justin Verlander, but that's just like a weird, like, media nitpick for me. Not that it matters. But Framber Valdez is, like, probably the best here. He's going to want the big deal. But it's like, I think people are going to keep going back to that Volpe pitch, like the cross-up. Which is just so funny that Volpe let a 93-mile-per-hour fastball go middle. But not that this is a Volpe pod.
We are 1 week away from pitchers and catchers reporting. It is shocking that this number of names are still available. We're starting with a guy, Framber Valdez, who's had Cy Young votes 4 times, has the most wins tied with Fried this decade, second most quality starts behind Zach Wheeler. He is patient, I'm told. He's been confident, obviously. We know that the Orioles and a number of teams have shown interest, but no deal yet for Framber Valdez. Then you've got, of course, Gallen, another guy with a qualifying offer. I know he had a 4.83 ERA last year, which is not good, but looking at the stuff, the velocity's still there. The whip was 1.26, the batting average against under 240. So, and he was at a 3.32 ERA in his last 11 starts.
I like Zach Gallen a lot, maybe like because there's a couple starts like stick out of my mind that I can't let go of. But like I feel like Zach Gallen just makes way too much sense returning to Arizona.
So, a little surprising he's still left. I think the Orioles also a possibility with Gallen, D-backs, Cubs.
Yeah, I know the Orioles and I believe the Cubs both want to add like one more quality starter. And like Gallen and Framber, obviously like you feel like, okay, like that's a guy that if all things go well, will make a playoff start.
Potentially the Angels as well. You got Max Scherzer. We've got 2 Hall of Famers, 2 all-time greats, and Scherzer and Verlander still left. I hear the Jays still have some interest. It's going to be interesting to see exactly what Max decides. I know there are a number of teams looking at half year for Max. Obviously, he's 41 years old now. He wants to be a full-year pitcher. He's obviously one of the most competitive guys ever. And you've got certainly a lot more. Giolito out there. Bassett still there. Nick Martinez.
I thought, someone can correct me in the comments. I thought Giolito has the pretty bad elbow injury concern. I mean, he didn't end up pitching that Yankees series that kind of opened up the door for the 2 young cats to pitch.
Yankees have checked in on him, and there's about 10 other guys, whether it be Corbin, there's a long list of guys that are still available. It's like 20 guys. Tyler Anderson, Paddock, a lot of guys still out there. Really shocking. If you made a list of the top 50 free agents at the beginning of this winter,
and a lot of these guys, because here we go, like since pitchers and catchers are reporting in a week, like there's some of these guys that are going to be available, and it's going to be interesting to see like how deep into spring training like some of these guys go without taking a contract, because like obviously there's injuries at every point every year, and it's like, do you wait for one of those things to happen, or do you just go with the team? And then it's like, okay, if you're the Orioles, if you're the Cubs, and you're looking to add one, who are you going to add? I know our guy in That's Baseball likes Chris Bassett a lot. I do too. I don't like him. I like the reasoning a lot. So we'll see how that kind of works, dude. And here we go. Like for me, Zach Gallen, I have again like a lot of respect for. He struggled with home run. He was the damage prevention was not there. But I think he's a good pitcher, and kind of with a refocus here, I think it could work out. Now, just real quick, One Kenobi does a great job. Like just with this kind of a great job. And since we're here, Elmer Rodriguez Cruz, who me and Ryan absolutely love, he'll be pitching in the World Baseball Classic, and so someone to look an eye out for. I mean, he was the lightest player in baseball.
But he can't catch up with that curveball.
In the scene, he was the lightest player, I believe, in the farm for a little bit. He's the lightest player in international signing too, and he was his stuff was. Him and Schlittler both destroyed Double-A. Obviously, Schlittler's a little bit older and came up and obviously dominated. But this kid is going to be a guy that, like, in spring training or in World Baseball Classic, you look out for. It's like, oh, okay, like, look, like he's got the stuff. Dude, I think this start was the one that sold me. Whenever I think about Zach Gallen, I think about this start. This is early in the year, and I think this is Will Warren on the other side. 13 strike. It was either Will Warren or Rodon actually, but had 13 Ks. Was really dialed. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like if the right opportunity is, I think someone could get like a pretty a pretty good arm. I mean, this start was ferocious from him. Like, just did all the little. This might have been the Rodon start, but just everything was dialed, and he's got that really tight curve that when he's really feeling it, like he destroys people. That was early Ben Rice too, but again, 13 Ks early in the year for him. And then ended the torpedo bat controversy, which was never really a controversy. It was like an anti-Yankees thing. But again,
humbling. That's kind of been the constant thing over the last couple weeks. Is people have been like, "Hey, we'd really love you to come back," and I think people understand what Phoenix means to me, and we're calling. My wife is from here. I'm calling this home base now. So for us to be here would be awesome. And I think it's been really humbling that people have come up and for like me to come back, especially because I knew how the first half of last year went. We didn't make the playoffs and things like that. So it gives you chills that people still want you to come back and be a part of the organization and the franchise. It's very humbling.
Yeah, I think it makes sense for him to go back. I mean, obviously, people talk about living in Phoenix is really awesome. If Phoenix, gives him, I guess, a dollar amount that makes sense. This person saying he wants 5 for 100, which I don't know. I mean, what is he? 30 years old? That feels like it probably checks out. I had to put this up here. World Baseball Classic. This is one of the great moments. If you guys aren't following the Fireside Baseball Twitter page,
Well out to right center field. Jones still on the move, running out of room.
I think Sam made this. This gave me chills when it happened. I'm so excited for the World Baseball Classic. Like, so excited. And this USA team, I know people are talking about the DR, but this USA team is real deal too, and they're going to have the best pitching they've had in quite some time. I mean, Skubal and Skeens at the top is obviously huge, and I love the bullpen, the fact that Mason Miller's pitching. I mean, the fact that, like, a lot of guys who maybe aren't, like, in love with their current situations in terms of, like, where they're at, like so there's the case where, like, a lot of teams, like, won't want players to play. And that's kind of well documented. I mean, I think Roki Sasaki just came out and said, like, yeah, the Dodgers, made the decision for me not to play in the World Baseball Classic. I think Ohtani's not pitching either in the World Baseball Classic. I think the Dodgers are like, hey, look, we don't want you guys to pitch in it, which makes sense, right? You want to, like, protect your pitchers, protect your assets. But, like, for the USA side, like, here we go. Like, Skubal isn't exactly in the best spot with Detroit. Like, they are a record number apart in arbitration, so you're going to get him. He's not going to listen to what the org wants. Like, I want to go pitch for the World Baseball Classic. Skeens, obviously, we know that well documented, like, he wants to win, and it's pretty clear that maybe he's not going to win and not going to finish his career in Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh tells him not to pitch. He's like, why? Why would you ever tell me that? Like, not happening. Now, Matt Boyd, kind of on the back 5 of his career, and I know he's going to pitch. That's, that's a big plus. And then Joe Ryan, it's like, the Twins got gutted last year. They threw out all the furniture. They left one thing here, and it was me. And they pump faked me with a trade to Boston that, Fox Baseball ended up, putting out there. So, I mean, like, the USA team, because, there's some pitchers that maybe are clearly not in current marriages with their teams, we're really excited to pitch in it. And like, having those 3 pitches, like, really, really top tier. Now, Logan Webb, good pitcher, but for him to be a 3 or 4 is a plus. And then obviously the McClellan kid for the Mets, I think he's a really good pitcher. It's going to be a good moment for him. I think he's going to come out of the bullpen. And then Bednar, which is a plus. I mean, obviously, I think traditionally you're going to have pretty good bullpen. It's like, what are you going to have starter wise? I mean, then I'm excited to see Mason Miller too. Mason Miller is just probably my favorite just to throw on at night, like, because when he was at San Diego, bro, it's like, or with the A's too, it's like, after you watch all your baseball, I'm an East Coast guy, or closer to the East Coast, so I will put on one of those West Coast games and just, like, watch Mason Miller just throw absolute gas. I love it. There was a story that maybe he wanted to, like, give starting pitching a try. Obviously, like, it's more wear and tear on your arm, and I could be throwing that hard, but just something, a quick note. Okay, so Puerto Rico's having some stuff. The president of the Puerto Rico Federation has not ruled out a last-minute addition of Francisco Lindor to their WBC roster. Arrangements are being made with private insurer to get Lindor covered, and will seek approval from MLB and the Mets. So there is that story where maybe the approval is the issue. MLB and MLBPA are lobbying the WBC insurer to change some of its decisions on players. Puerto Rico Baseball Federation is also seeking private insurance alternatives for the players have been denied insurance. So basically, like, playing these games and getting hurt, like, there needs to be, like, a kind of safety net for some players, and right now there's not that safety net for Francisco Lindor and a couple other players. And I think the World Baseball Classic is best when the brightest stars for each country are in the fold. So I'm hoping this gets figured out and kind of just monitoring it right now as we get a little bit closer. Let's see. I mean, Sean does a really good job with this kind of thing. Nate Eden may play for Great Britain. Spencer Horowitz will play for Israel. Oh yeah. Jazz is playing for Great Britain. That's cool. Hunter Brown turned down an offer to pitch for Team USA. Oh, yeah. Astros pitcher and Cy Young finalist Hunter Brown was asked to pitch in the World Baseball Classic for USA per sources. Brown turned down the offer after speaking with the Astros and his agent, Scott Boras. Boras must hate America. Just kidding. Brown's focus remains on having another big year with Houston. Yeah, obviously, you don't want it to sacrifice the payday. Aroldis Chapman's not pitching for Great Britain. Okay.
Ok, team, tipo, Javi es posible que no pueda jugar. Todo depende de unas charlas que tiene que pasar, que supone que hubiera.
Okay, just for summary purposes. Puerto Rico could submit the official World Baseball Classic roster with empty slots. There are movements to include Javi and Frankie and Barrios. Let me explain what's going on today. Yeah, it's the insurance issue. Like, if a guy gets hurt, they want to be covered and have that safety net. And if it's not there, they won't be doing it. Now, I know that all the USA players got covered. It was no problem. So just that quick note. And then Sean Springs had this. Dude, this team is ridiculous. I mean, I'm just... Like, the DR team is at 26 out of 30. They got 4 empty slots left. They got Christopher Sanchez, Sandy, Bayo, and Sevi. That is 1 through 4. Fantastic for this kind of medium. I mean, and outfield-wise, O'Neal Cruz, Julio Rodriguez, Juan Soto, and Fernando Tatis. Like, that is absolutely disgusting. They're going to be so good. All right, the big MLB news. I mean, the guy that I feel like is kind of in trade talks and trade rumors 24/7, or at least has been for the last couple of years. Seattle put off a deal for Brendan Donovan from the Cardinals as part of a 3-way trade. That includes Tampa Bay, sources tell ESPN. A deal had been considered for weeks, but finally lands Seattle's first bat. And then it sets up this lineup, which I kind of like. Obviously, you lose Gino to the Reds. That's kind of like one of your power bats. But, I mean, clearly have someone who's going to, hit for contact, get on base, kind of your toolsy player, your guards ball player. Brendan Donovan, Cal Raleigh, Julio, Josh Naylor, Rosarena is a really, really good 1 through 5. Like, that is a good 1 through 5, to me at least. And you think that, Julio Rodriguez last year got off to a pretty sluggish start, I believe, first half of the year, and then ended up heating up down the stretch. And then Josh Naylor, it feels like he found a home, a place that appreciates him. He stole a bunch of bases last year. Like, this lineup, has a shot to do some real damage. So really excited about that. And if you're a Seattle fan, you should be excited about that. I know that, obviously, losing Gino Suarez, which, it kind of did make sense to go back to Seattle, but they didn't want to hold up, I guess, young guys is kind of what I was reading. You lose him, but you still add an impact bat. And it's funny because, the reports were, well, we don't want to, Gino here because we do have some young guys who want to get some playing time. And I was like, okay, then let's go, go get another third baseman. So, full of whatever. Oh, dude.
Can you put it to rest once?
Aaron Boone is always getting destroyed, slammed, cut up. And I did find this interesting, an interesting exchange because he gets picked apart a lot of ways. He gets called a shell, gets called the analytics guy, gets, him and Cashman have no feel for the sport. Some of it's kind of bitter fans, and then outside fan base is really putting a lot of heat on Booney.
Once and for all, I know you guys collectively discuss things before series. That I know. Mm-hmm. We've discussed that. But between first pitch and last pitch, has there ever been a point where somebody, an unnamed guy, a voice on the other end of the phone, said, I want to see so-and-so in the 8th and so-and-so in the 9th? Any type of, game decisions that you did not get to make by yourself?
We can say put it to bed, but I don't believe that it will be put.
No, this is the show record.
And hence the
Yes.
Yankees should. It's because I will take calls all morning long. Or
No, but I want to put it to bed.
no matter what is said.
Like someone in like a full like the Dark Knight suit is upstairs and like buzzing down to Aaron Boone. Hey, you don't get to do that. You got to do this. Like you are just the robot. And obviously like it's always gonna boil down to like, well, what about Nestor Cortez? It's like it's either Boone or the front office or Boone or the analytics department.
It's
a belief.
Yeah, it's not true.
It's nonsense.
And even to the degree of the other stuff, like before a game we meet and like we got to do like that's not really how it goes down either. I mean,
so who invents that?
I don't know,
because that's like that's a narrative.
I don't know, because I do think there are some. I'm assuming I've only got one frame of reference as a manager. I'm assuming there are some teams that are very hands-on in that way. But that said, I don't even think in any of those games, like you can't communicate with coaching staff other than through other coaches. So, it's just none of that's ever true.
I do feel like people think that like Booney is like some sort of like just general robot, and like he's supposed to just like. They're like, there's like if he does this, you do this. If he does this, he does this. And I think people think that because sometimes some of the stuff in retrospect looks away. But I never got the feeling like Boone is a bad manager. I think really it's kind of just bubbling frustration until the Yankees win a World Series. And it's like all these, excuses about things. I saw this and I thought this was absolutely insane.
One of the big arguments that Sean and other Yankee fans made was the $22 million.
Mm-hmm.
We can use it elsewhere. Now that the offseason is over, I want you to walk me through if Trent Grisham had declined the QO and had gone somewhere else.
I was critical when Trent Grisham signed the QO as a Yankees person. Now, obviously, like this is more about me talking about the sport as a whole. I don't understand Yankee fans being super, super frustrated unless it's just frustration for not winning the World Series or feeling like you're not the favorite to win the World Series as you want to be at the beginning of every year.
What you were doing with this newfound $22 million, walk me through it.
I would have maybe signed Luis Arraez.
They wouldn't.
That is an unserious. That's about as unserious as it gets.
Didn't have. Mm-hmm. You want to know why?
Because of chestism.
No, because he's a one-trick pony who hits for a high average and does nothing else well.
I would argue they need that trick more than they need the Grisham trick.
Sean, I'm not arguing Evan opinion. I'm telling you the Yankees weren't signing Luis Arraez to a one-year, $12 million deal. So move along.
I'm telling you.
If you think Luis Arraez is more valuable than Trent Grisham, never turn on baseball ever again.
Evan, what makes the Yankees a better baseball team top to bottom?
Trent Grisham.
A horrible defender that's on-base percentage, like in 2024, was lower than Jesse Winker's, even though he won the batting title, because he doesn't take walks, and he just dumps things into right field. Like,
Grisham.
No, it's not.
Trent Grisham's a good defender.
Yeah,
Luis Arraez can't defend
He's
me.
a Gold Glove defender.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tiki.
We all know his defense over last year. The gliding was great. His arm is middle of the road.
Have you seen Luis Arraez play defense?
Okay, we're not talking about
And
defense
where's
right
he
now.
playing?
We're talking about overall baseball player. Oh, my God. He's getting absolutely dog-walked in this debate, like disgustingly.
Talking about the offense right now. I'm fine with Cody Bellinger playing in center field. I don't need Trent Grisham's defense.
Okay, so you would have taken Arraez with the money. Who else? Because I'm curious what you think they would have done, and I'm going to tell you how they wouldn't have done it. Mm-hmm. So you're wasting your time.
The guy who went to the Reds yesterday would have signed Suarez.
I don't think they were ever signing him.
Okay. I would have spent a little more money and given the same deal to Bo Bichette.
They weren't going to do that.
Okay, but this is my point. You can't yell at me.
Suarez, a horrible defender on an outlier. Well, not an outlier. You're a horrible defender. Righty bat might have been a plus, but you're already spending $20 million, I believe, on McMahon. You sign Belly. You want Bo Bichette. So you want Bo Bichette, Luis Arraez, and Suarez for that $22 million that they spent on Trent Grisham. You couldn't have had all three.
And tell me, what would you have done with the money? And then everyone go, well, they weren't going to. Of course they were.
Saying, like, the money was $22 million, and you're saying Gino Suarez, Bo Bichette, Luis Ariz.
Weren't going to do it because they signed Trent Grisham. That is why they weren't going to do it, because they don't think outside the box, hence the problem we have with Brian Cashman. Yeah, I'll just keep rattling off names. You keep telling me they weren't going to do it. No kidding.
It's a horrible baseball take. Just horrible all the way around. Horrible.
The end of last season was...
This felt like a reply to that. No, actually, I don't want to make this a full Yankees pod, so we're going to move on a little bit. Hey, shout out to my guy, Ryan Garcia. This was a great job. Great job in the space. Best scoop of the winter was knowing they had real interest in Robert. Worst scoop was hearing they wanted Imai. Agreed. But I heard, not agreed. I was also misled greatly with that one. From Chatterbox Sports, the Reds will leave the FanDuel Sports Network with MLB set to produce their games this upcoming season. Based on the precedent from other MLB teams' produced broadcasts, games typically remain on the most of the same cable providers through the standalone channel. The Reds-only streaming option would likely cost around $100 for the season, or $20 a month, and then no changes to the current broadcasters and shorter pre- and post-game shows. Yeah, so I'm from Northeast Ohio. I watch the Guardians on their network, and it's really nice. Like, it's good, and you feel like maybe if you get a bigger cut of the pie and you're able to kind of do a good job marketing things, maybe your TV deal could be, bigger later on. Who knows? Not sure exactly what the numbers look like. But the Guardians did do it last year, and so I thought that was of note, and at least that the Reds were trying to do something different. Now, the Reds also signed Gino, and they now have a lineup that isn't absolute famine. It's not absolutely disgustingly bad. They are going to have a lot of strikeouts here, right? I think that really they should move Ellie to either hit second. Yeah, I think they got to move Ellie to hit second, because you can't. To me, you can't have Gino Suarez and Ellie hit back to back. That is a lot of strikeouts. But this is a team that when they're hitting, it's going to look really, really good. Now, for me, you think I know Gino Suarez is going to DH, so you don't worry about the defense. Now, the defense on that side of the field with Ke'Bryan Hayes and Ellie De La Cruz is going to look good. It's going to look exciting. It's going to be athletic. Now, a lot of people believe that Ellie should end up playing outfield. I think he's going to try to stick at shortstop until it's contract time, unless they think that the shortstop thing hurts his value. But he could be, a good athlete like that could be like a Tatis level defender outside. So, in the outfield. So just thought this was a good note. Love Gino Suarez to the Reds. I think that kind of thing absolutely matters. Pakistani Phil and his ancestors have an accuracy rate of 39 going back to 1887. Shohei Ohtani, greatest of all time, hitting 282. No one likes him. Best to ever do it. No one like him. Best to ever do it. Pakistani Phil, 390. Fraud. Wash. No one believes him. Anyways, Pakistani Phil, I believe, said that, the winter was going to end a little bit earlier? Oh, predicts an early spring. Punxsutawney Phil, early spring. That's what we got. Early spring is good. This kind of thing matters to baseball players, right? Early spring is good. Early spring. And then this was a World Baseball Classic bit I had.
There were reports.
You could just read it. Roki Sasaki says it was the team's decision for him not to pitch in the World Baseball Classic, which makes sense. He's a guy that had some injury issues last year. Him, Ohtani, and Yamamoto, you do worry about their elbows kind of moving forward. Yamamoto obviously was on like a pretty tight innings restriction a year ago, but then last year in the postseason ended up kind of blowing entirely through that and obviously being a monster and really helping the Dodgers win it. But again, I'm really excited for the World Baseball Classic. I think next episode, I'll dig into some players that I'm really excited to watch in the World Baseball Classic. But make sure you like and sub. Want to get one of these notebooks out here, and then we'll be back with the boys, I think, tomorrow. So make sure you stay tuned.